I can't. You're going to have to tell the people what just happened because I'm shook. I'm shooketh right now.
You're shook. Okay. Well, I got this. So let me just put my my professional orator voice on real quick. In recent news, the San Francisco 49ers, Juju's beloved San Francisco 49ers, have recently acquired Carolina Panthers running back and player who has never played a meaningful football game in his life, Christian McCaffrey. In exchange, the San Francisco 49ers will be sending a 2023 second, third, and fourth round pick to the Carolina Panthers and a fifth round pick in future seasons, which I believe is conditional based on some production outputs. The San Francisco 49ers, as you may recall, do not have their first round picks in this year's draft. They traded it all for crypto, aka Trey Lance, and the San Francisco 49ers have taken their top 3 picks in the upcoming draft and sent them to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a player who once made All-Pro at both running back and receiver.
Just had to get that one crypto shot in, didn't you? Just couldn't let that one go, Kyle. Just have to rain on my parade, be ants at my picnic. But no, not tonight, my friend. Not tonight, because for the first time in what feels like forever, the 49ers actually said F them picks and went all in on a player that we know can play. You talk about the Trey Lance thing. We still don't know if Trey Lance can play. I know that Christian McCaffrey can play. I know he can play well, as you mentioned, as a receiver, as a running back, as an all-around offensive weapon. And if I was to design a player in a lab to fit into a Kyle Shanahan offense, it probably would look like someone like Christian McCaffrey, someone who could take advantage of that zone running scheme. In fact, his injury history just fits perfectly with this year's 49ers team. I will enjoy these next 2 weeks while he's fully healthy and just look forward to the eventual hamstring injury that is. But seriously, no, not going to go there. Not going to go into that negative place. No, I am just going to say that this trade shifts the expectations that I had for this year's 49ers team. There's no way around it. You make this move. This says not only are we planning on winning now, but given Christian McCaffrey's contract that we have him under contract till 2025, we plan on winning into the future. And this is another opportunity. You mentioned what's going to happen down the road with like a Trey Lance, for example. You're getting another high-priced offensive weapon on your team in your locker room. I did not expect this happening tonight. I heard the rumblings that Christian McCaffrey trade was in the works. I did not expect the Niners to make it. I didn't expect it tonight. Crazy. Seriously, I'm in shock, man.
Yeah, I totally get it. Like, this is an all-in move that is all in for this season and next season. And I understand it a lot more because I believe that the San Francisco 49ers, before making this trade, were the second best team in the NFC altogether. I thought that they would end up coasting through that division regardless of injuries, et cetera, et cetera. I love this trade so much by San Francisco. I love it so much. And I say that having no idea how it's going to work out. I have no idea what the results of this are going to look like. This is a classic case of great process, and we'll see what the results are. And the thing I'm hammering all the time about sports, if you have a process and you have an idea of where you're going, that's okay, even if the results don't pan out, because the results are so out of your control. You have no idea what's going to happen with Christian McCaffrey's hamstrings. We don't know exactly how Kyle Shanahan plans to implement him in that offense, given where George Kittle stands and what Deebo Samuel's doing and Kyle Juszczyk return. Like, we don't know exactly what that's going to look like for San Francisco. I don't know what the results are going to be. The process is the correct one, though. This is a great decision by the San Francisco 49ers to make this trade.
I think that there was a lot of pressure on them, not only coming off a loss against the Atlanta Falcons, but just in general, the last couple years, yes, you've beaten the hell out of the Rams. You won 6 straight victories against them, but then in the most important moment in the NFC Championship game, they're the team that advances. And why do they advance? Because they have Von Miller on their defense, and Von Miller creates a lot of pressure, and Von Miller is a big reason for that interception that ended last year's NFC Championship game. That's something that the Rams have been consistently doing. They've been aggressive, and they've been making it hard on the 49ers. The 49ers had to have some sort of counterpunch. Now, they were planning both for a win now window and in the long term when they went after Trey Lance. This is a move similar to when they made the deal for Emmanuel Sanders a few years ago. This is a move that says, we can go all in on this year's team. And when I look around the offense, there's no more excuses for this offense to not be running at full efficiency. because I look at an offense with Trent Williams coming back off injury that has George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Kyle Juszczyk, Jimmy Garoppolo, and like we mentioned, the best left tackle in the game in Trent Williams. That's an offense that can win in this league. That's an offense you can roll into battle with each and every day. And I look at what Christian McCaffrey brings to this offense. Okay, if we all agree that Jimmy Garoppolo is not a guy that exactly airs it out and throws the ball downfield, then what is the perfect running back to have? A guy like Christian McCaffrey, a guy that is averaging about 8.4 yards per catch this season, a guy that still is 4.6 yards per carry. Christian McCaffrey is still a damn good player. That's what I've learned throughout this year, that when he's healthy, when he's on the field, Christian McCaffrey, age 26, people, is still a damn good player. And that's why, Kyle, John Lynch, I'm glad that you came to the decision that we don't care about spending Jed York's money, because Jed, pressure's on him to win a Super Bowl following that Eddie DeBartolo legacy.
Well, so this is interesting because this is what trading for Trey Lance and giving away all your first round picks buys you, is the cap space to just slide in Christian McCaffrey. I don't know exactly how the money's going to work. They're probably not paying the full contract. I assume Carolina's paying some portion of it, given how much compensation they had to give up. I don't think we know the details of that yet, but at the same time, you can just slide that in, because remember, going into this year, the 49ers had $24 million of cap space available once they restructured Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. This is the benefit of not paying $13 million over 3 seasons to your first round picks and not having to pay the slot money to all those draft picks that you trade away, is that you can just slide in a Christian McCaffrey and things kind of roll normally, and they can sign Charvarius Ward and they can give all these people extensions and still have the flexibility. That's ultimately, I think, why they opted to go for Trey Lance back when they did. And I think if they had to do it over again, they probably wouldn't do it the same way. But at the same time, this is what it buys you when you have that flexibility and a guy on a rookie contract. It's the same thing the Chargers tried and failed to do this offseason when they signed all those people to gigantic extensions. It's the thing that Kansas City did when they had Mahomes in that window and they ended up signing Honey Badger and signing Tyreek Hill to that big extension. And then as soon as Mahomes makes the money, those guys go away and you have to find value within the margins. This is San Francisco finding value within the margins. And I mean, their quarterback's making backup level money. And I'm not talking about Trey Lance at this point. So it slides in beautifully for this year and next year. 2025, I'm not exactly sure what the math looks like there, but for this year and next year, it looks very, very good for San Francisco. And I don't think even with those draft picks and cap space, they were going to be able to fix the running back situation, because it was bad. And credit to the 49ers for acknowledging the bad running back room and making a change.
It's bad, but it was going to get better in a few weeks when you did have Elijah Mitchell back and healthy in theory. But what I think is ingenious about this move too, because I think Mitchell's still going to have a role when he comes back off his injuries respectively, is that you put a little less pressure on Christian McCaffrey in this offense. If you look at what he had to do in Carolina, he was the every down back. You couldn't put a guy like Chuba Hubbard or Dante Foreman out there to substitute in for him. But in San Francisco, you look at when they were at their best in 2019, for example, Raheem Mostert was a great find for them late in the season, but Raheem Mostert still wasn't an every down player. He still wasn't a 3-down back for them. They were able to get the best out of him because they were able to rotate their backs. If you told me there's a CMC and Elijah Mitchell rotation that happens throughout the course of the season, I will believe you, because I think that that's going to be what they're going to use to try and keep these guys healthy, keep these guys on the field, because the big problem, again, 49ers running backs in particular, they get hurt. They go through them like cannon fodder. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Christian McCaffrey, given, like Trey Lance, you put a heavy investment here. We're talking about all these draft picks. You're not going to have those anymore. I told you the Niners scratch on draft picks all the time. They also hit on draft picks. So hopefully their recipe of continuing to land a 5th round, 6th round pick that turns into an all-pro works out for them. Christian McCaffrey, I can tell you, if he's healthy on the field all 17 games, then you know what? He's going to be all pro for you. There's no question. There's no dispute about that one. Last question I have for you, though, with this move, what do you think? Them against the Eagles, assuming everyone gets healthy? Do the Niners have the best roster in the NFC?
It'd be a really fun matchup to watch. I would love to watch San Francisco play Philadelphia. I just want to watch Philadelphia play an elite defense, period, because I would love to see how that offense stacks up against a defense like San Francisco or Tampa. I think San Francisco and Philadelphia are the 2 best teams in the NFC. and the two best rosters in the NFC. I hope that that's not a cop-out answer that you were looking for, but with or without McCaffrey, these are the two best rosters in the NFC. And this is an NFC where matchups are going to be super dependent. I think any of those 5 teams in the NFC could end up making the NFC Championship game. So this is one of those situations where I would love to watch them meet in the playoffs. I would love to watch San Francisco match up with Philadelphia.
I guess you could chalk this one up for John Lynch as the Cojones trade of the week. Anyway, guys, let us know below in the comments section. What do you think of this move for the San Francisco 49ers? Where do you think it puts them in the NFL as a whole? You compare them against the Bills, the Chiefs roster. Where do they sit? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments section. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay safe, happy, and healthy. From Juju and Kyle, we'll see you next time.